do this. Good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Lees, and I'm welcoming you to the August 12th edition of Bearing Witness to Miracles and Blessings in Daily Life. It's an interfaith discussion where you're invited to bring your own sacred texts and teachings. And as the divine arrangement would have it, I am here with my two very capable assistants. And we have already gotten to celebrate that part of those miracles and blessings are the power of laughter and working with this senior crowd, of which I include myself. We are exceedingly technically challenged, and we did have somebody in the room a hot minute ago, and by the time we got up the opening slide, she had vanished. Perhaps she'll be able to join us again. But in the meantime, before I called her, I opened in my email. Oops, no. An excerpt from a book. I don't have the full source. It's from an old channeled from the 80s book, something called Emmanuel's book. It's an excerpt. Somebody sent a screenshot. There is an overall plan of which you are not aware, and to which you can only contribute by being who you are, doing your best, seeking your higher truth, and following your heart. This is God's plan of salvation, not only of the soul consciousness, but of the earth itself. The time is coming when the culmination of eons of effort will bring forth a renewed level of light, and they use a capital L, in your planet. It will be a schoolroom that offers an opportunity to choose between the negative and positive aspects. There will, however, be more light with a capital L and more awareness of the light. There will be a balance where love can flourish, where kindness is a power and recognized as such, where God can again be placed at the center of consciousness of each human being. Wow. And yeah, that just pulled up on my feed when I was looking to bring people to this conversation. And I've already sent Sue the link, so I'm not going to go. Either she makes it back or she doesn't. We can stop sharing the screen. And I am fresh back from the Awakening weekend in Minneapolis, where David Cunningham and his book, Your Love Does Matter, was. And it was an amazing time where I got to travel with 4 light practitioners. Sue was one of them. Let's see if I can, my computer closed a few screens, so let's see if I can pull up, I had photos of that. Apologize for not having them up and ready, but yeah, my technical gremlins. I'm one of those, over 30 folks. Well enough over 30 that we're losing things. Okay, we got that. We got that. Here we go. Oh, there's a bunch of pictures from there. But that was yeah, here we go. Pump open up and come back to Zoom and share the screen. So in Minneapolis, I was there with Sue Talbert and myself, Dr. Jane, who is an amazing soul. She was related to David before doing an Awakening weekend herself. She did an Awakening weekend with him end of October, beginning of November a year ago, and was so inspired there that she invited him to Minneapolis to the event that we came to. And here comes Sue Talbert right back in the room. What do you know about timing? I just love God's timing. Welcome back. And so, this Dr. Jane facilitated the Awakening weekend happening in Minneapolis, and she received light from light practitioners who were visiting at the time and was so inspired that she became a light practitioner herself. So this picture is David Cunningham with his book, Your Love Does Matter, and Brenda and Dr. Jane, myself, and Sue, who were the four light practitioners who went to the event. Um, and yeah, it was an amazing time. Sue Talbert, welcome. There you are with the book, Your Love Does Matter. Do you have his card there with the prayer? Because, yeah, I gave away the copy that I had.
Nope, don't have that.
Okay, I might have it in my photos to read. Let's see. Bum 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 bum. That would be back a few days. And oh, no, but I have photos of him laying hands on you, and I have photos of, hold on. I'm just going to share this one well, I don't have permission, so never mind. Um, Okay, here, no, I have the back side of the card, but not the front. All right, it doesn't matter. He had a prayer for peace in there. So what was your experience of the Awakening weekend and the divine arrangements that so this is we are being recorded? Yes. And this is bearing witness to miracles and blessings in daily life, and you and I just had an adventure.
We sure did. After getting plane tickets that had connecting flights on them, I went to Minneapolis by way of Chicago Midway. And then on my way home, when I got on the plane in Minneapolis, my flight was delayed a couple times and it didn't make it to Chicago in time to catch the Cincinnati flight, along with a bunch of other people that missed it. And Southwest said that was our fault and that they don't have to provide anything for that. And the woman in front of me was trying every which way from Sunday to get a method to get on her way. And I was just listening to all that and praying. And I took the ticket that they wrote out for me for the next plane the next day. And then I had to go find um, some accommodation for the night. And I was very grateful that the young woman who was pushing my wheelchair knew how to use her phone, uh, and she recommended the Marriott Fairfield and took me to the shuttle bus stop where I hopped on that bus. Not really, but I got on that bus.
Yeah, you got yourself on the bus.
Yeah, and he put my walker on for me, and then let me off in front of the Marriott. And I waited in line to get to the agent, and he said, "That'll be $500 plus." And I said, "Ah, you're kidding!" And after negotiating, I got it down a couple hundred. So he said, "Yeah, your plane ticket, your hotel rooms often cost more than your plane tickets." Anyway, it was like, wow. So I haven't traveled for about 40 years, so I don't have a
Right,
lot of it.
and hospitality, there used to be, I mean, I remember in past times missing flights being provided with meal tickets, taxis back and forth, hotel accommodations, for 24 hours for whatever. When TWA lost my dog, they took such good care of me, and now it's like, oh, you missed your flight. Too bad. Come on back tomorrow. It doesn't matter that you have a wheelchair and yeah.
And they gave me this ticket that I didn't realize was a standby ticket. And I had to wait until the agent came to and they announced the Cincinnati flight. So I went up to him and I said, "I need a seat this boarding pass." And he said, "I'm sorry, that flight's full." And I said, "What? I've been here since yesterday." And he said, "Okay." He got on the phone and he started working and working and working and working, trying to get a seat on that plane, which was full.
But
And it,
you got a seat on the plane, so it wasn't quite so full.
yeah,
It just
so
felt full, but God had a space for you.
he did. I was in the last row right in front of the bathrooms, and that's fine with me.
With your
I
seat
don't,
that doesn't recline.
oh, I didn't recline any seat. I
Right,
didn't know how that even worked.
right. If you wanted it, that row has it doesn't have it.
Mm,
But
so that's fine. I was very
you
grateful
were
that
on the plane and you were going home.
you got it.
Yeehaw!
You got it. And the people that were picking me up, they didn't have their cell phone, their message set up on their cell phone, so they didn't get the message that I wasn't going to be there the
So
day
they were waiting
before.
for you the day before.
Yeah, they were waiting for me the day before, and I managed to text them to say, and this plane is late again today. So um,
Wow.
they we finally made connections, and I got home. Ah, it was a very good trip, very, very, very good trip. Um,
I
David
re-
Cunningham's workshop was wonderful, and I'd recommend anybody else to go to it. And I hear it's coming to Atlanta. Mm.
It'll be in Philadelphia, I heard in December, but he's now saying Atlanta in December. I think it's the first weekend. So yeah, we'll see what the dine arrangement is. I could potentially do it, but
Somewhere
I've had,
around Thanksgiving.
I'm sorry.
It's somewhere around Thanksgiving, I think. That's when he's going to marry Felicia. That's when he's going to facilitate Felicia's.
Right, I think it's the first week of December, not around
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
mm. Well, we'll see.
Okay, yeah. Anyways, these are all divine arrangements. And again, I will remind you that although there's only four of us in the room, this is a recorded conversation that will go out worldwide publicly. It's available. So, as you're discussing people and name dropping, yeah. Consider who wants to be name dropped and who doesn't. David Cunningham, I'm sure, wants to be recognized. Um, and I don't think you've said any names who don't, because yeah, they are global leaders who are looking to make a difference in the world. I came today with, I shared with you, Sue, a link that I don't know if you saw, and I have not yet been able to get the darn thing to open on my Kindle. It's still not showing up. View in library. Oh, it's still spinning. Your documents will appear in the library in a few moments. Janelle, is it open in yours? And if so, do you want to open it and share the screen? Well, here, I'll start with the invitation piece. Where's the book funnel link? Oh, no book funnel. Get your copy of. Huh. I'll go find a invitation. Susan. Here we go. So here, I'll start sharing my screen, Sue, so that you will see where I'm taking my link from. This is right in WhatsApp, and this is a chat with you. It says follow the threads, notice the blessings, give thanks. And it's a book funnel link that invites you to get my book, which is Gratitude for Divine Arrangements, a perspective of gratitude, faith, and God's perfect timing by Cynthia Lees. Now, this is a lead magnet to a series of books that will be published sooner rather than later, but this year. Um, so I'm grateful that you have chosen to spend some time inside these pages. As you read, I invite you to do more than consume the words, but notice what speaks to your heart and reflect on it. Underline it, highlight it, write in the margins, doodle. Okay, this is an electronic book, but sometimes you can do all of this. Perhaps you'll discover an arrangement that you had not noticed. Perhaps one of the stories will bring a person, a place, or a moment from your own past back into your awareness. And when that happens, I invite you to write it down. The present moment becomes a memory. We have the means to look back with grateful eyes, so why not give ourselves something worth remembering? My hope is that through this piece, you will become more aware of the divine arrangements in your life and recognize them with gratitude. I'm grateful that you're here. I love you. Cynthia Lees. And so some of life's most meaningful moments do not reveal their significance until we look back and see how everything came together. In Gratitude for Divine Arrangements, Cynthia Lees shares her personal stories and journal reflections about the unexpected connections, encounters, blessings, and experiences that have shaped her life as revealed over several days in May 2026. Yeah, already that's wrong. Through gratitude, faith, nature, relationships, and everyday moments, Cynthia invites you to notice the threads woven through your own life and discover the divine arrangements that may already be unfolding around you. Yeah, the 10th chapter is, written this morning. Um, so stopping the share. And so, Sue, you had said you'd be interested in reviewing a book for an author. And this is not actually a book that invites a review, although there'll be places where you can make posts about it, I'm sure. It's inviting you to be part of an email list that will then be reminding you of upcoming publications, such as My Daily Gratitude Volume 1 from June and July 2023, coming soon. She says, feeling exhausted. So yeah, thank you for listening to that preview. Janelle, did you get that? Does it open for you? And is it worth sharing and scrolling down to chapter 10?
Chapter 10.
Yeah, which was just the revelations of today. I'm noting that it's 2:22 p.m. Yeah, numbers on 8/12/2026. Yeah, numbers have been figuring in a lot today, and those are multiples of two, if not four. Okay, from today at 12:22 p.m. Yeah, the world view, this self view, this landscape of our lives is ever shifting and changing. I'm grateful to be surfing the waves and nodes of life, finding each day to be an increasingly joyous adventure despite the frailties of body and mind. Numbers continue to be of interest. Early in the year, the fives of fire were predominant. On Monday, the fours of stability, hard work, divine presence, reassurance, and action Q, oops, that's an autocorrect, and action showed up on the odometer of the car and the arrangements of so many blessings. I'm grateful to have cleaned the Lee's family altar, ancestors' altar this morning, attended to the spiritual laundry, changed the outer wrappings of my precious holy Omitama, and offered light to my partner for 28 minutes. Offering light with him does not look like light in a center. I enjoy offering light to the top of his head and then to neck points, standing beside him behind his rocking chair on the porch, dancing or swaying in time with the old time rock and roll on the radio overhead. I concentrate on the spiritual cells of his being and allow myself to watch the nature, the hummingbirds and butterflies, wildlife, in glimpses, breathing deeply, blessing God every moment for these gifts of materialization. Harmonize with a beehive or a bird call or a rainstorm. Your heart knows. Your soul knows. If you have found this book as an introduction to my mailing list, thank you. Please stay connected as I roll out my daily gratitude, beginning with Volume 1, June, July 2023. Allow me to plant those seeds slowly with you and encourage you to take on what fits and works for you as you create or maintain or fine tune your spiritual landscape, creating a world that works for you and everyone in light and love and harmony. Bless you. Thank you. You can stop share. Sue, does that sound like something that you want to read, knowing that you've gotten to read the last chapter first?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Some people like to read the last page first.
I often do.
Yeah, so there you go. We've saved you the trouble. Well, the last pages are, yeah, invitations to find me on other platforms, and you've already done that. Um, Thinking back to David Cunningham and okay, so well, so the 444s Monday. Okay, from David Cunningham, I was spurred to begin taking care of my own physical health. Long story. And um up to and including mammography on Monday. And the schedule was looking as though I would be taking myself to the appointment. And the arrangements were such that the new visiting nurse was able to come early in the day and she hit all the right buttons and was approved. Yeah, she can come back anytime. He likes her. That's always a good thing, especially when the new plan is for daily care again and I need to travel. Yeah.
Mm.
And she was out the door in time for me to get a chauffeur. So I was not driving myself. So we get in the car, we pray it in, we start offering light and get on the road. Don't even get to the end of the road, which is about a half a mile away, and we get a low tire light. So we go to the bottom of the hill and we don't use the new device that I have in the back that will inflate your tires or whatever and do an air compressor. We just went in and got quarters and whatever. He took care of it. Couldn't get any more. He said, you need a new valve stem and we'll go to the tire place in Somerset. I didn't remember going to a tire place in Somerset until we got there. Then I remembered. But got there, turned out that we had a plugged tire. It had been plugged one time too many. We needed a new tire. They'd sell us one for $230, or, oh, yeah, we have one at home. So we got to drive up and back again. So that was like 190 miles in the day. So it's really pretty mountain driving and everything. Um, 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 but there were a whole series of fours in there that led to it. 206,844. 2 plus 6 is 8, and you got another, all those multiples of 4. And so I looked up the fours, and yeah, I think that was just in the chapter that I read. Was it? Janelle nod? Yes. Okay, good. All right. We're going down a rabbit hole again. Um, Although laughter is the best medicine, and I am tempted to loop in the reasons for, yeah, taking care of my health, which would include a video of me riding a mechanical bull for the first time. It's really worth laughing. Um, 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 and the card that I received in the mail that prompted a conversation and a decision. So I'm looking at getting a hip replacement. Um, the mechanical bull also helped with that decision. Um, um, and I like that all of these things have been in place for me. I know I'm jumping around. Took care of the ancestors, took care of the Omitama, took care of the partner, and then, as my mother always tells me, you are protected. There's a providence who is there for fools, drunks, and missionaries' children. And as a missionary's grandchild, I'm really covered. And by being connected to that soul chord and being able to hear it, I meet with various people on various quests in their life. And I had occasion to meet with someone very recently who cannot find that soul journey yet. And I feel that there's so much peace to be found when you can stop looking externally for the causes for everything and find it within and understand that everything that's happening is a reflection of you. Um, Janelle, let's take a look at the slide deck. What do I want to talk about? So, bum, 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 bum. Well, Sue Talbert, you were on the call this morning. So one of the things that feeds my life is, yeah, let's start with slide 13 when you get to it. Yeah, that one. So Sue Talbert on the joy of morning prayer, which happens to be one of the main heartbeats of my life this morning. Where is my prayer book? Oh, here it is, open. We read The Family of Miroku and began with, their departed mother must surely be pleased now that they have consolidated the foundation of the family of Miroku. Next slide, please. Day and night, I do the work that comes to me at God's command. I do all that is humanly possible, and I leave the rest up to Him. I love this one. You don't need to know what Miroku is to understand that with that soul connection, you do what you can every day. You know, if you're a pearl diver, you're the best pearl diver you possibly can be, and you harvest all the oysters that you can, and then at the end of the day, you put it up and say, I did what I could today, God. And if you have the means to get a hotel room with that, yahoo, that helps. All right, next slide, please. Now that the clouds of illusion and materialism have begun to disperse, the light of God will illumine the way forward for this town. Excuse me. And for me, I see that places where the light gathers, things shift. And you can stop the share for a minute. I did a live stream sometime after getting back from the Awakening weekend, and Mitch, I think he's 8, a viewer from Illinois, said we had tornadoes here, and they missed us. And then I saw the post of a tornado band in the Chicago area that went in a loop like they do for a breast cancer ribbon or an AIDS ribbon or any kind of awareness ribbon, that loop. And along with a post that in the middle of that loop, where there was no tornado damage, there were Holy Goshintai altars for this practice that we have, the spreading of God's light. And that's powerful. And so many times people and dwellings are spared. In Pasadena, the dwelling was gone, but the holy objects were spared, and the center was spared. The building was gone.
Years ago, when I was in Cincinnati at the dojo, and a storm was coming up Coleraine Avenue, which is where we were sitting, everybody at the dojo lifted their hands and started doing the Amatsu, and the building was pelted with um, sleet, and you can see little pock marks, but nothing else happened. And all the surrounding area had limbs down and uh, electric lines down and everything under the sun. But all we had was a little sleet pock marks on the building, and we were fine. It was just amazing.
There's power in that prayer.
It sure is.
There's so much power in that prayer. Power of protection, power of materialization.
Driving home that day, it was just leaves off of trees and branches all over the streets. It was amazing. People lost their roofs and stuff.
And all you had was pockmarks from sleep.
Yeah.
But in this prayer, I'm looking at it in the prayer book right now, you're calling into the power of, you're calling to the great God of true light who created human beings and all creatures by using the spiritual energy of fire and the spiritual energy. I mean, you're calling into that, you're calling up creation and you're calling to those infinitesimal spiritual particles, and the protection comes. And I've witnessed to it on here before when I was in Atlanta, and there's a video of that in the playlist. We're not going to go look for it, of an aggressive panhandler being at the car in front of me, waving his dollar at the closed window. And I was offering light because I was traveling. And then when I saw that, I started chanting the prayer aloud as well. And I started filming because, yeah, I'm a YouTuber. And as he came up to my car, I put down the phone because it would be rude to be in his face. But I turned to see him, and he just kept going. And he is up at the window behind me, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, what just happened?" Didn't hey, what just happened? He's gone. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. Thank you for the power of the prayer. And and the realization that, okay, so yes, I have this precious holy Omitama, and the realization that the power of that prayer alone, even without this special pendant that we wear, gives people. Because I was speaking to Susan Rogers in Southern California about somebody learning the prayer, and she was telling the story of a 9-year-old boy, not yet 10. So he couldn't take the course, but he knew the prayer, and he was, with a bully on the playground. And he was chanting the prayer like this, and somebody witnessed the light go from the hands to the clouds and then come back and smite the bully somehow. And I'm like, thank you very much. However that happens, it worked for, I mean, watching the guy go by my car. What was that? Thank you. And you're offering light in the middle of the storm, and you get pockmarks and other people have destruction.
There's a new kumite in Louisville who has a 4-year-old daughter, and the mother was learning the prayer, and her daughter knows the first half.
Well, the
She's
daughter's
4.
younger, the brain is plastic. Of course she does. Yeah. Yeah. I would I would like to get in on that act, yeah. I see too many people being trained the way I was or whatever, who are only getting the memorize the prayer, not with the understanding of the English translation short line by short line. There's something that my realization is missing, and I want that for new people, and I can offer it to new people if I can get my hands on them. And that's easier said than done. I have a few. Um, and oh, God's light. Janelle, can we go to that section? Sue Talbert, you just gave a copy of God's Light to Dr. Jane.
Yeah.
And when I started giving copies of God's Light to friends of mine in the team management and leadership program from Landmark, otherwise known as very busy people, like Dr. Jane, I mean, people whose lives are really full of causing and doing all freaking day long. Um, um, I realized that I consume things by audiobook, and so I was creating them in audio. So I have that book recorded up through chapter 10. So there's only 11 chapters plus I don't know, 12. Yeah, and then the back matter. Um, but so when I give somebody a copy of the book, I will also give them a copy a link to a playlist that has God's Light and Universal Principles for All Humanity, this introduction to Sukyo Mahikari, which was edited by Sydney E. Chang, PhD, and copyrighted by LH Europe 2007. There's it's unlisted playlists and it's admonitions all over it. Only give it to people who own a copy of the book, because I don't want to violate the copyright. And that I'm reading it. And as I'm reading it, it's my first reading of the book. I want people to understand that. So there's little bits of understanding there, but I'm doing my best not to insert myself over it. And as it's a study aid, and I have learned by doing myself in the past, I'm also offering like page markers, so assuming you're driving in traffic and you're hearing something, oh, I wanted to mark something from that section. Well, that section, there was a page marker. Oh, it's on page 85, so they can find it. Next slide, please. Let's see what I took from this. Okay, so yeah, this is an excerpt from page 125, chapter 10 of this book. Although Sukyo Mahikari believes that its teachings and practices are profound and relevant to today's society, it is not its intention to impose these teachings or spiritual practices upon others, as that is contrary to the teachings and the guidelines of both the founder, the present spiritual leader, and the acting spiritual leader. And I'll note that the book was copyright 2007, and so now we are with the one who was then the acting spiritual leader is the current spiritual leader. Thank you. Next slide, please. There are many diverse paths leading to the same goal. That is the goal of coming closer to God. It is Sukyo Mahikari's belief that it is God's prayer that every person will have the opportunity to live a happier and more fulfilled life. It is therefore the sincere desire of Sukyo Mahikari to work with others in society to help foster and support the changes in consciousness which are necessary to realize God's prayer for humanity. All right, and that was on page 125. Hold on. I want to just check the spelling of something because yeah, okay, so AI went in and yeah, to work with others and foster. Yeah, those can be lowercase in the future. And hey, if you can fix it while we're running, yeah, thank you. But so yeah, you can stop sharing. So Sue, as kumite, we are where is it? Page 90. Yeah. Okay. We are charged with, being smiling spreaders, smiling Yokoshi Kumite, spreading the light and guiding related souls to courses, and yet at the same time not imposing our beliefs on others, because our way is not the only way. And, if you'll just let me shed light in your environment. I have a friend who won't accept the light, and yet if I'm on that Joy of Morning prayer call and we're doing spiritual realm purification, or I'm doing that just myself, walking around and chanting and with my hand raised, he'll say, "Thank you for blessing my house." That works for me. I'll take what I can get. Your thoughts?
Joyce Sturm from Washington, D.C. says that when visitors come to her house, she says, "May I offer you a blessing?" And most of them all say, "Yeah." And she proceeds to give them number 8.
Beautiful. And when she says number 8, she's talking about this light to the main soul, to the pineal gland. Um, yeah, what light looks like. Um, when when my partner was in the hospital, I had an image like we have on the on any advertisement, an image of two people facing each other, and one person is offering light, the other person is receiving it, and an explanation of, this is what's going on in this room, so that people can see. And I have a too big sign in the back of my car. What I would like to do is get some smaller signage to move around. Um, and give people pop-up opportunities, May I offer you light and let people know what we're doing at the same time? So if it looks weird, they'll come and say, I want some too.
If you want my sign, you can use it.
I'm not looking to drive to Cincinnati anytime soon. And thank you for the offer. Yes. Janelle, I will ask you, is there anything else that I wanted to be doing in this space today? We mentioned that we have this book release coming, and yeah, those books aren't here, but you can now get your preview thing. um, I continue to invite people to the Conscious Community Collective, and I'm finding that backfiring at the moment, so I'm not going to do that on this space. David Cunningham, his there will be an awakening weekend. I'm sure there's one in Philadelphia in December, but there's also he's added Atlanta. Um, I like that he just keeps being open to spreading that message wherever people will have him. And
When was he going to give the one on a cruise ship?
I don't know his full schedule, but if you go to yourlovedoesmatter.com and follow that information, if you have those slides and you want to pull them up, Janelle, you can go ahead. Just David Cunningham links. But the work that he does, he's doing usually a 90-minute session every month on Zoom that's free. Or what he did at the end of last month was a 7-night, 30-minute meditation session, which was a lead up to an awakening weekend. Yeah, so the awakening weekends, you can do that by going to https://theawakeningweekend.com. And we now have it in duplicate. And increase your love footprint by going to theawakeningweekend.com. Okay, these slides are in transit as we share them. Thank you very much. It's all good. And yeah, and so I find this adventure of moving through life and the space of life and the messages that you're taking every day. Okay. Desi B has, but he hasn't shared his sound on that. Oh, the sound is off at the top. Boop. There we go. And now back to the beginning of it. I'm not hearing the sound though. You do with the share screen, did you do the share sound? Try that again. In the meantime, we have the captions at the bottom. One more time.
I'm David Cunningham. The Awakening program literally alters your relationship with yourself, who you consider yourself to be. How does it work? There's two things. We have the conversations where we identify the current reality that we live in. Next step, though, is then to discover, well, if I'm not that, then what might I be? That's where we have the really profound, beautiful meditational experiences. Do the weekend live, and we do it with a fairly small group. It'll be 30 people or less in the group. So it allows for people to really do their individual thinking and creative work. I'm able to give my full attention to each person. I want to be right there with people, and it's a small enough group that it is intimate and connected every moment of the course. There has to be a new opening for us to express ourselves as human beings, to be free as human beings, to be at peace as human beings. And I found that at the crossroads of spiritual awakening and transformation, and where those two worlds come together, I found a way and put it in the program called The Awakenings, a way to have people be ultimately free, ultimately powerful, and know themselves as the creator of their lives.
Thank you very much. Perfect. And that is the pitch for the Awakening Weekend, and he delivers. Okay, here we go. Calgary, Canada is September. October is Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. November is in Austin. Okay, December is in Philadelphia. And so he doesn't yet have the first weekend in December in Atlanta on that list, but we've been told we have the inside track. Very good. Cabo San Lucas. All right, a destination weekend. Choose your weekend. All right. Okay, very good. You can stop the chair. People can then find it themselves. I appreciate that. Um, and so the divine arrangements that I see, the introductions that we have in life allow us to guide each other to those voices that have helped. I mean, for me, it's been Landmark Worldwide, and David came out of that training. And I like what he's done with that. He's taken transformation and consciousness and put them together really beautifully.
For 20 years of my life, it was Girl Scouting of the United States of America. I can't say enough about them.
Say a little bit more about them.
They allow everyone to work to their full potential, and they teach you how to do that if you have no clue. And it's very minimal fees for the volunteers who teach those programs and the professionals who accompany them. And they ask you what you would like to do and offer you the opportunity to go to those kind of programs as a leader, as a co-leader, as a communal volunteer, as a program director, as a neighborhood chairman, as a recruiter for troops, as a cookie chairman, as a counselor at a camp, as any other small roles or large roles that they need. They have a board of directors in each council that you can attend if you have the time or influence or want to help. And they recruited me to do each one of those volunteer jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I offered trainings in outdoor skills and qualified camping and songs and games and leadership training for the different levels.
Right.
It was a very good experience, and I had so much fun with the adults, along with being a leader and teaching young girls. But I thoroughly enjoyed being with the adults. And I ended up being the program chairman for the whole council for programs and giving speeches to the whole group, 200 people. it was very fulfilling and very enlightening for me to come to the ability to do all that.
I'm glad that you had the Girl Scouts in your the Girl Scouts, Boys and Girls Clubs, 4-H, university extension programs, Campfire Girls. They give such structure for kids. That's beautiful. I was just looking, and I have a friend who is about to publish, and I guess we will talk about it next month because she's releasing the book on September 22nd, and I'm not sure about the title of the book, but when I looked at it originally, it was The Self-Doubt Solution. This woman, Sue, you will love this book when it comes. Oh my goodness. This is a woman who, when I met her on Zoom, it was a one-on-one chat. She knew that I was a book midwife at the time. And for some reason, I went down the rabbit hole and said that as I had been told I was a Maasai warrior in a past life. And she's like, I was your chieftain. And we had chills. There was a connection. It's like we knew each other from past lives. And so we worked together, and the depths and the breadths of her intuition and understanding of people and how they, shift, and her life experiences, and, the challenges she has, an adult child, who she's a caregiver for, and just an amazing thing. So I will look forward to telling you about that next month. And in the meantime, thank you so much for coming today. And, remind me, or I'm pretty sure I reached out to Dr. Jane, but, let her know that if she wants that book in audio, it is there. The one that you've given to her.
I also gave her the new book on the divine plan of Sukyo Mahikari.
Right. She can read that one on her own. That's one that I would consider doing a separate, like we have a Gosagan study on Wednesdays at 5, which that time isn't working for people, and that's okay. That book is also currently being read on Saturdays at 8 through the Great Virtues Call out of Atlanta, the Divine Plan. So yeah, if you like reading books together with people, which is something that has definitely worked for me, studying together. But I'm cognizant of time. It is the top of the hour. And so can we go back to that very first slide, what we're all about, why we're here today, the title of the show, whatever we're doing, bearing witness. And yes, a shout out to having a crew that helps me. This is amazing. It's not easy being me. I posted a video this morning. So, bearing witness to miracles and blessings in daily life and interfaith discussion. So, yeah, thank you so much for having come today on August 12th. If you're viewing the replay, please put any responses in the comments below. And Dizzy Bora, I know we'll be putting all of the links that we discussed into comments and the description after we get this saved and posted. All right. So thank you so very much for coming today. And at this point, I will stop.